Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Let's take a trip back in time. The year is 1973. America had put a man on the moon, the open road was a symbol of freedom, and the future felt like it was just around the corner. We were living in an age of incredible optimism and technological ambition. But there was also a storm brewing on the horizon, an energy crisis that would change the automotive world forever. In the middle of all this, General Motors, the biggest, most powerful corporation on Earth, did something strange. They didn't just build another car or truck. They decided to build the future of travel itself. They created this, the 1973 to 1978 GMC MotorHome. This wasn't just another boxy camper bolted onto a rough-riding truck chassis. This was a complete, ground-up reinvention of the recreational vehicle, engineered and built entirely by a major automaker, something that had never been done before and hasn't been done since. It looked like a spaceship, handled with the poise of a car, and was packed with technology that was decades ahead of its time. But here's the mystery. After just 6 short years and a total of only 12,921 units produced, GM killed it. They walked away from what many consider the greatest RV ever made. Why? Was it a failure? Was it a victim of bad timing? Or was it something more? Today, we're pulling back the curtain and exposing the 13 shocking secrets behind the GMC MotorHome, the futuristic RV that GM, for a time, seemed determined to hide from its own future. Fact 1. The secret ingredient was a muscle car. All right, let's start with the heart of this machine, and it's our first big secret. When you think of a 26-foot-long, 12,500-pound motorhome, you probably imagine a lumbering truck engine and a rear-wheel drive setup. But GMC threw that entire playbook out the window. Instead of reinventing the wheel, they went into the GM parts bin and pulled out the revolutionary powertrain from the Oldsmobile Toronado. Now, for those of you who know your automotive history, the Toronado was a game changer. It was a massive, stylish personal luxury coupe powered by a huge V8 engine that drove the front wheels. The GMC MotorHome used the Toronado's entire unified power plant package. This meant a monstrous 455 cubic inch, 7.5-liter rocket V8 paired with a heavy-duty turbo hydromatic 425 automatic transmission, all packed neatly over the front axle. This front-wheel drive layout was absolutely radical for an RV. It meant there was no long drive shaft running to the back, no bulky rear axle or differential taking up space. And that single decision unlocked a cascade of engineering advantages that made everything else possible. Fact 2. It has a completely flat floor. Take a look at this. I'm walking from the driver's seat all the way to the very back, and my feet have stayed on the same level. The floor is completely, totally flat. This sounds simple, but in the RV world of the 1970s, it was revolutionary. Traditional motorhomes built on truck frames had a hump in the middle to accommodate the drive shaft, and the entire floor sat high off the ground, requiring a steep set of steps to get inside. The GMC's front-wheel drive system eliminated all of that. The floor is only about 14 inches off the ground, making it incredibly easy to get in and out of. This low floor also dramatically lowered the vehicle's overall center of gravity. That's engineer speak for saying it handled beautifully. Owners reported that it drove less like a lumbering land yacht and more like a big station wagon, stable and confident on the highway. Fact 3. It rides on air, not springs now. If the front end was a Toronado, the back end was pure space-age technology. Secret number 3 is that this motorhome doesn't have a conventional rear suspension, it rides on air. Instead of a heavy, solid rear axle with dual wheels, GMC's engineers, drawing from their experience with city buses, created a unique tandem bogie system. Each of the 4 rear wheels is independent. But the real magic is the suspension itself, a fully independent air ride system. A single, robust airbag on each side handled the load, inflated by an onboard air compressor. This wasn't just for a cushy ride. The system was automatic. It had a self-leveling feature that would adjust the air pressure to keep the motorhome perfectly level, regardless of how much gear you loaded into it or how uneven the road was. You could even control it from the dash to raise or lower the rear for easier leveling at a campsite or to navigate a steep driveway. This was luxury car technology on a house on wheels in 1973. Fact 4. The body is built like an airplane. You'd think a vehicle this big would be incredibly heavy, but secret number 4 is that its construction was more akin to an aircraft than a truck. The conventional method for building an RV back then was what they called stick and tin, a wooden frame with aluminum siding stapled to it. It was cheap but not very durable or safe. GMC took the opposite approach. They started with a rigid steel ladder frame for the chassis. But for the body, they created a cage-like frame out of welded aluminum extrusions. The sleek, curved body panels weren't flimsy metal siding. The lower sections were made from sheet-molded compound, the same kind of strong, lightweight fiberglass used on the Chevrolet Corvette. The upper body and roof were made from smooth, painted aluminum panels. This combination created a shell that was incredibly strong, lightweight, and aerodynamic, contributing to its performance and surprisingly decent fuel economy for the era, with some owners reporting 9 to 11 miles per gallon. Fact 5. It was meant to be a halo vehicle. So why did GM pour so much money and engineering talent into this project? That brings us to secret number 5. This wasn't just about selling RVs. Initially, the project was envisioned as a Chevrolet of motorhomes, a high-volume, affordable option. But that vision quickly changed. When a new general manager, Alex Mayer, took over in 1973, he saw a different potential. He wanted the motorhome to be the Cadillac of motorhomes. It was intended to be a halo vehicle for the GMC brand. In the auto world, a halo car, like the Corvette for Chevrolet, isn't just about sales numbers. It's a statement. It's designed to showcase the absolute best of a company's design and engineering prowess, creating an image of innovation and excellence that lifts the perception of the entire brand. The GMC MotorHome was a rolling billboard for what General Motors could achieve when it set its mind to something. It was meant to draw people into GMC showrooms, even if they were just there to buy a pickup truck. It was a symbol of GM's technological dominance. Fact 6. GM's own divisions were at war. The motorhome project wasn't a happy, collaborative effort across the company. It was the subject of a fierce turf war. Initially, Chevrolet, GM's golden child and biggest division, desperately wanted the motorhome project. They saw it as a perfect companion to the Corvette, another halo vehicle that screamed freedom and the American dream. However, a long-standing corporate rule at GM dictated which division handled which vehicles based on weight. The guideline stated that vehicles with a gross vehicle weight rating over 10,500 pounds were GMC's responsibility. The 23-foot motorhome clocked in at exactly 10,500 pounds, and the 26-footer was 12,500 pounds, so the project was officially handed to the GMC Truck and Coach division. You can bet there were some heated boardroom meetings over that decision. This rivalry highlights the intense competition that existed not just with Ford and Chrysler, but within the walls of General Motors itself. Fact 7. The iconic design was a happy accident. The sleek, timeless look of the GMC motorhome feels so intentional, so perfect. But secret number 7 is that its futuristic styling almost didn't happen. The initial design proposals from the GMC engineering department were far more conservative. they envisioned something more conventional, with flat sides and only the front and rear caps being styled fiberglass, similar to other RVs of the era. It would have been cheaper and easier to build, but it would have looked like just another box. Thankfully, the GM Design Center, under the direction of stylist Michael Lathers, had been working on its own, much more radical concepts for a travel vehicle streamlined, or TVS4, as the project was internally known. They had created full-size clay models with sweeping lines, vast panoramic windows, and an aircraft-inspired aesthetic. When management saw the design center's vision compared to the engineering department's box, the choice was clear. The chassis, beautiful, flowing design won out, and an automotive icon was born. Fact 8. They sold empty shells, called transmodes. While most people know the GMC as a luxury motorhome with shag carpets and avocado-colored appliances, secret number 8 is that you could buy one completely empty. GMC offered a version called the Transmode. This was a bare-bones shell, sold without an interior or even side windows, direct from the factory. The idea was to provide a versatile platform for commercial applications or for other RV companies to build their own custom interiors. And people got creative. Transmodes were converted into everything from mobile command centers and mail delivery vehicles to ambulances and even shuttle buses for rental car companies. Several prominent RV manufacturers like Coachman and Avian purchased transmodes to create their own competing luxury versions. This was GM's clever way of hedging their bets and creating a multi-purpose platform, not just a single-use RV. Fact 9. The oil crisis was both a curse and a blessing. The GMC MotorHome launched in 1973, the exact same year the OPEC oil embargo hit America. Gas prices skyrocketed and panic set in. This seems like the worst possible timing to launch a giant V8-powered luxury vehicle. And that's our 9th secret. The oil crisis was a double-edged sword. On one hand, the crisis devastated the entire RV industry. Sales plummeted across the board as people balked at the idea of feeding a gas guzzler. However, compared to its competitors, the GMC was actually relatively fuel efficient. Its lighter, aerodynamic body and efficient drivetrain meant it could achieve 911 mpg, whereas many heavy, boxy competitors were getting a dismal 46 mpg. In a strange way, the crisis highlighted the superiority of GMC's engineering. While the overall market shrank, the GMC stood out as the smarter, more advanced option for those who could still afford to travel. It survived the initial shock better than many of its rivals. Fact 10. The interior was built by a competitor. You'd assume that since GM built the entire vehicle, they also built the fancy interiors. But secret number 10 is a fascinating piece of corporate maneuvering. For the first 2 years of production, the interiors were outsourced to a company run by the owner of a major competitor. The interiors for the 1973 and 1974 models were constructed by Gemini Corporation. The CEO of Gemini was Peter R. Fink, who also happened to be the owner of Travco Motorhomes, one of the most established and respected names in the RV industry. Think about that. GM, the largest automaker in the world, hired its rival to build the living rooms for its revolutionary new product. The Gemini plant even used progressive team-based assembly methods, where small groups of workers built entire rooms, rather than a traditional repetitive assembly line. In 1975, GM finally brought the interior construction in-house, but for those crucial first years, the guts of the GMC were built by the competition. Fact 11. It's the official land speed record holder. This might be the most unbelievable secret of all. This comfortable, stylish home on wheels is also a record-breaking speed machine. Secret number 11 is that the GMC MotorHome holds the land speed record for a Class A motorhome. In 2006, a heavily modified 1977 GMC MotorHome, owned and driven by Britt Palmer, screamed across the Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah at an astonishing 122.1 miles per hour. That record still stands today. Now, this wasn't a stock vehicle, of course. It had a 502 cubic-inch ramjet V8 engine putting out over 700 horsepower. But the fact that the stock chassis, suspension design, and aerodynamic body could handle those speeds is a powerful testament to the brilliance of the original engineering. It truly is the muscle car of the RV world. Fact 12. An astonishing number of them still exist. Most vehicles from the 1970s have long since rusted away. But our 12th secret is a testament to this vehicle's incredible build quality and the passion of its owners. Of the 12,121 GMC motorhomes built, it's estimated that somewhere between 8,000 and 9,000 are still on the road today. That is a survival rate of over 70% for a 50-year-old vehicle. It's almost unheard of. This is thanks to its rust-proof aluminum and fiberglass body, the robust GM mechanicals, and a fiercely dedicated community of owners and specialized shops that have sprung up to keep them running and restore them to better-than-new condition. When GM was about to scrap all the original tooling and spare parts in 1992, a private engineering company bought it all, ensuring that new factory-spec parts would remain available for decades to come. This vehicle wasn't just built to last. It was destined to be preserved. Fact 13. GM didn't kill it because it failed, and that brings us to the final, most shocking secret of all. The reason GM tried to hide this masterpiece from the future. General Motors didn't discontinue the GMC MotorHome because it was a bad vehicle or a sales flop. They killed it because it wasn't profitable enough. The official press release from November 11, 1977, was cold and clinical. It stated that GMC was discontinuing the motorhome and transmode to convert the plant facilities to expand light truck operations. The truth is, GM was in the midst of a massive corporate downsizing. The impending fuel economy regulations of the 1980s meant they had to retool their entire lineup. The motorhome, with its bespoke chassis and complex assembly, was a low-volume, high-cost product. GM executives made a calculated business decision. They figured they could build 100 profitable pickup trucks in the same time and space it took to build one motorhome. The motorhome was never a massive moneymaker, and in the face of a changing automotive landscape, the Cadillac of motorhomes was sacrificed for the sake of volume. It wasn't a failure of engineering or design. It was a casualty of the balance sheet. So there you have it. The GMC motorhome wasn't just an RV. It was a moonshot project, a rolling testament to a time when a giant corporation dared to build something not just for the market as it was, but for the future it imagined. It was a masterpiece of engineering and design, born from a muscle car, built like an airplane, and killed by a calculator. The fact that so many of these futuristic vehicles are still cruising America's highways 50 years later is the ultimate proof that GM created something truly special. They didn't just build a motorhome, they built a legacy. Now, I want to hear from you. The community around these vehicles is one of the strongest I've ever seen. If you've ever owned one, driven one, or even just have a memory of seeing one of these spaceships on the road as a kid, please share your story in the comments below. Your experiences are a vital part of keeping the history of these incredible machines alive. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into automotive history, do us a huge favor and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.